Good afternoon, everyone. It's week, I think, 10 or 11 now that we've been doing this. I hope you're still enjoying these. Let's get right to it. We're going to do something called pan-fried sweet chicken. And we were trying to think of an interesting name to call this because sauteed chicken sounds kind of boring. Even pan-seared chicken sounds kind of boring. So we thought, how can we make that more interesting? So there is a little powdered sugar in this recipe. If you've looked at the recipe before this started, you'll see there is some powdered sugar. It's not terribly sweet. It has a little hint of sweetness, kind of like Chick-fil-A. And then I think the big ingredient in this that we love is coconut oil. We love coconut oil. This is virgin coconut oil. You can get this anywhere. I like virgin because it has more of that coconut flavor. And I think with all the spices that we're using with the powdered sugar, this is going to really work well. So before we get going with the cooking, I brought my little glove right here because I don't want to have to keep going back and forth washing my hands. So Hudson, let's switch the overhead camera, and I'm going to show you, if you have not seen me do this before, these are just chicken tenderloins that I have cut in half. All right, so this is a full one right here. And you see this little skin right here on the side? I'm going to kind of pull that right there. And these are just cheap kitchen shears. And you cut that, and that comes right off. Okay? And then the only other thing you have to do, you have two more things. There's that little tendon right there that connects this tenderloin to the breast. Cut that off too, because that will not cook. That'll be like a little piece of rubber band, so you will never get that. You will never be able to eat that. So there you go. That's all done. I'm going to set these little kitchen shears aside. And I have a sharp knife right here, a very sharp knife. And what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm going to hold it flat with this hand, okay? And I'm going to cut right along this, cut it right in half, okay? So I'm going to hold it down again. Keep your fingers like that, not like that, but like that, so that you don't cut your fingers. And again, a really sharp knife, you should not have to press hard at all. It'll slide right through, and then you'll make two tenderloins out of one. It's like magic. Look at that. See? And then that way, the way we're cooking these, you want these to cook really quickly, and with it being that thin, it's going to cook very, very quickly. Okay, so let me put my knife over here. All right, so I'll have my chicken right here. I'm going to set this over here. Get this out of the way. And this is, again, the coconut oil. That's about a little over half a cup of coconut oil, okay? Because we're going to cook a lot of chicken. And something that, we'll go back over here. Something about coconut oil too, and whether you use coconut oil or olive oil, I highly, highly recommend coconut oil for this. I think it really makes it. You can also do a combination of coconut and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, if you want to do that. But the coconut oil I love because it's at room temperature. It's solid, so it's not saturated fat. It's unsaturated. It's actually quite healthy for you. So get this melting right now. You want it at about 350 degrees. All right. So I have my chicken tenderloins right here in front of me. In a bag over here, in a gallon baggie. I had to write down all the ingredients because I can't remember them all. In this gallon baggie right here, I have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. If you are sensitive to gluten, if you have celiac disease, or if you just don't want gluten at all, you can use rice flour. You can use even almond flour. We've used almond flour before to do a similar chicken, and it's really, really great.
Tanya 60 says she makes it from the cookbook and she uses gluten-free flour.
Okay, yeah, so the Bob's Red Mill, I think, does.
And it's amazing.
Okay, fantastic, good, good. So there's all different flour alternatives that you can use as opposed to wheat flour. So 1.5 cups of flour, whatever kind you want. I like all-purpose. 1/3 of a cup of powdered sugar packed, okay? So that means get your 1/3 of a cup measurement into the bag and kind of press it down in there, smooth it, and then pour it into the bag, okay? You want a packed cup of powdered sugar, not a sifted cup, 1/3 of a cup, excuse me. 4 teaspoons of table salt. That sounds like a lot, but you're going to need this because we're not going to season this chicken at all before we start cooking it. So 4 teaspoons of table salt, 3 teaspoons of onion powder. I even put some garlic powder. I put a teaspoon of garlic powder in this today. 2 teaspoons of paprika. I read something the other day that the correct pronunciation is paprika, but I refuse to say that. So 2 teaspoons of paprika, because I'm from the South. Paprika. I grew up, they said paprika. They added an extra syllable in there. Paprika, 2 teaspoons, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and then 1 teaspoon of celery salt, okay? So that's all in this bag. Seal it up. Make sure it's sealed really well, because there's been more than one occasion where I didn't have this sealed all the way, and it was not good. It ended up everywhere. So this is all shaken around, okay? I'm going to try to get this open without contaminating my right hand. All right, as I said earlier, if you've seen these before, I have these red tongs, which means for raw meat, so I don't get confused. Put all these in here. I do maybe 10 to 12 at once in this. Oh, I don't want to get all that fat, gross. I do about 10 to 12 tenderloin halves in here, okay? So put that in here. You want to seal this back up. Make sure it's, again, sealed really well. And I probably will have to wash this right hand because I've already touched stuff. And just really shake that around really well. You could do this in a bowl if you want. I just find it's much easier. It's easier cleanup if you do it in a bag. In the bag, you can really squeeze that flour into all of the chicken without getting it all over your hands, as opposed to having it in a bowl and then we call it club hand, where you just get flour, then it's wet, flour again, and you just get this big flour glove on your hand. So this kind of eliminates that. So my oil is about at temperature. So I'm going to set this right here, get my board in the sink, and I think we can start cooking. All right, let me get my little, I have a little thermometer gun. I think this was like 15 bucks. And this is really great for stuff like that. I think it's dead. It's dead. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's dead. It's okay, no. Okay, let's look right here. Okay, this actually is a really good point. If you do not have a thermometer, it's totally okay. You can look at the oil and you can tell from the oil. You can see in the light, when it starts to do that kind of shimmering thing, you'll see the oil is shimmering. That means it's really ready, okay? So, again, I have this about medium-high heat. Another big sign with coconut oil, I know, it'll start to smoke, okay? It doesn't have a super high smoke point, which means the point at which the oil starts to burn. So, when this starts to smoke, which it is, I'm going to turn this oil down just a little bit, okay? I have my black tongs over here, which are my clean ones. I'm going to get my bag of flour over here. And before you start cooking, these are basically like giant paper towels, okay? They're like this absorbent, porous fiber that a friend of mine gave me, and they're fantastic for this. So it absorbs all the oil. You can do a wire rack, whatever you have, okay? So actually, since I have a glove on my hand, I'm just going to do this. Have a good overhead shot, Huddy? All right. So you want to do about 6 of these at once. Yeah, see, that's perfect. That's really perfect. Again, the oil with the sweetness of the powdered sugar is really great. And I made this by accident one night. I didn't know what to make, but I had all these ingredients on hand, so I thought, well, I'm just going to try something, and it can't be bad. And it was not bad at all, actually. The kids absolutely loved it. And if you have my last cookbook, just the original recipes, you'll see there's a Chick-fil-A recipe in there. This is very similar to that recipe, but it's way faster. It's way easier, okay? Because all you do, you dip it in the flour once, and that's it. You don't have to worry about doing an egg wash, okay? So I'm using these tongs to get that in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 6. There you go. Look, by the time I got all those in there, look how quickly this cooks. Use the same tong, okay, the red one, to flip it. Look at that. Oh, it already looks so good. See that beautiful color on there? And I tend to do them clockwise so I can keep track of when I put these in here, so I know when to turn them, when to take them out. So this was the second one right here that I put in. Good here. See, that color is really perfect on that. Can y'all see that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Do you have any questions?
Betty brought you the thermometer.
Oh, Suddy, thank you, buddy.
Nancy Arnold made the egg roll bowl last week, and she said it was wonderful.
Isn't it good? Thank you.
And she enjoyed reading the cookbook.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Daniel Aiken wanted to know if you had any campfire recipes.
Yeah, there's something in the new cookbook called hoagies that I think are an amazing campfire meal. We don't do many campfire meals, do we? Besides hot dogs, s'mores, and hoagies are really the big thing that we cook. Okay, look right here. I will get back to the questions. This first one should already be ready. So I'm gonna get my safe tongs, okay, my black tongs. And again, if you've probably seen me do this before, if you've watched, you kind of break that open, look at that. That is completely done. Let that drain for a second, and then I'm gonna put it right on the paper towel, or whatever this stuff is called. Can you see that, Hudson, from where you are? Okay, great. Again, this next one should be done. There are a couple in here that are a little thicker, so I'm gonna check those before I pull those out. So yeah, I got it on the paper towel. That's totally cooked. You don't wanna overcook this. What I do love about this recipe is somehow, I don't know how it works, but with this breading, it's very forgiving. Even if you do overcook it some, it still ends up really tender. See, that one's done too. That was a bigger one, so that's done. And I'm gonna show you, once I get all this chicken onto this paper, I'm gonna show you what I do. Because believe it or not, even with all that salt on there, it's still, I've tested this recipe many, many times, and I think it still needs a little dash of salt. You obviously do to your preference, but I think a lot of people are scared of salt. But salt is a flavor enhancer, so you've got to make sure that you use it, because some people don't use it at all, and they wonder why their food doesn't taste that great. Well, that's why. Salt is a flavor enhancer if you use it correctly. Okay, look at this last one. That looks great. Let's go to this one. Just for demonstration, I'm not going to do the rest of these. I'm just going to do these right here, so you don't have to watch me cook every single bit of this. Okay, put that right there. I'm going to turn my heat off. All right, you see right here all that flour? This flour left in the pan will all eventually start to burn, okay? So if you want to do maybe a third a cup of oil, I wouldn't do any less than a third a cup of oil. You want to empty that oil out when you see that flour start to burn, because if not, it's going to really start to affect the taste of the chicken if that flour is burned. So again, I have a paper towel in hand. I'll just kind of wipe out the skillet. Make sure you do it over a plate, because if you put that in your garbage disposal in the sink, that coconut oil can re-solidify, and then you've got a big problem with your pipes, with coconut oil in your pipes. So this chicken has rested just for a little bit. I'm going to turn this over so that it absorbs any extra coconut. And you can see these are not very oily at all. Can you see this okay, Hudson?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what I'm going to do, just get a tiny bit of kosher salt. I mean, not much at all. See, I'm not putting much at all in there. And I'm about to need a taste tester over here to help me. Because you have to have quality control when you're making food. So I think do I have 2 taste testers over here? Okay, guys, I can't touch it with this hand, but here, let me kind of break that apart. All right, Sadie, you take that. Carney, you take that and see if it's good. Oh, that's good. I still think it needs a touch more salt. Do you think it needs a little more salt? Or you think it's good? That's great, because it's not overly sweet. Don't let the powdered sugar scare you. It just gives another dimension of flavor that you don't typically have with fried chicken. And again, as you can see how quickly that came together, how easy that was. And again, where we buy our chicken, it's normally $2.99 for a pound of tenderloin, so it's very inexpensive. The boys would just do this straight, with dipping it. Did you get choked on your water? They have a bone in it. But the boys would eat this straight, with mac and cheese or couscous, whatever. Andrea and I would typically cut this up, and we will have this on a salad. It's so great with some roasted pecans, some dried cranberries, those little crunchy chow mein noodles. Those are so good. Let me take this off, and I'm going to show you how I cook this. I'm going to get this glove off because this hand is clean. It is kind of sweaty because it's been in that glove, but my hands are clean. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you really quickly how I do this. This is obviously a knife. This is called a honing steel, okay? This is not a sharpening steel. Some people think that this actually sharpens your knives. It does not. Okay, what this does, this realigns the blade of your knife, because the more you use your knife, the blade's going to start to get a little crooked, okay? It's going to start to curve either to one side or the other, and then that affects how you cut. So this honing steel realigns that blade. So all you do, if you have one of these, I set it right here. The professionals, I see professionals do this. You know, I just like to put it straight down like this, okay? Little angle, go down, that side, down, down, and do just a slight angle. You want to get it all the way from the heel to the tip of the blade, okay? And I typically will do this about 15 times per side. And again, it realigns that blade so that it stays sharp. I actually sent my knives off several months ago because I never had them resharpened. So I actually sent them to a company that professionally sharpens them. I do not attempt to do that because I don't want to mess up my knives. Okay, so for this chicken, what I do for the salads for the boys, guys, I'm wondering where I can go to get a better shot. I'm going to put this oil over here to the side, and I'm going to put this back where I was. I'm coming back, I promise. So let me get, hey buddy, can you, actually you can't do that. I'm still here, folks. I'm going to get a cutting board, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I cut these. Okay, this is just a sheet pan because that is still hot. So what I do now, I'm going to put this on here because I don't want to cut directly onto metal because that will kill your blade, okay? So I'm going to set some of this chicken over to the side to give me some room, and I'm going to show you how I cut this, okay? You want to hold your knife, your thumb right there, your index finger right there, okay? The rest of your fingers you curl around the handle of the knife, okay? So that when you cut, you're going to rock the blade back and forth, and this is the most important part. Don't ever, ever, ever have your fingers out like this, okay? Ever, because you will cut your fingertip off. Tuck your fingers like this. Make a little claw and tuck, and then keep your fingers like that when you do that. Okay, so watch. I'm going to hold this, and what I'm going to do, these knuckles right here are going to stay against this blade, okay, and they're going to guide the blade. So now, oh gosh, this is not gripping at all, so I can't. This is all going to slide around. But basically, when you get good, you can start really flying through that, and all that's cut up. That wasn't very smooth because this paper is moving around. You always want to have a stable surface. And in fact, so that I can show you, I have a little shelf liner, okay? I think you can get this at Walmart. You can get anything at Walmart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this under that, and this should grip this a little better. See, that's already so much better. So now what I can do, I can really show you how to do this correctly. So again, put your fingers like a claw, okay, and you're going to guide the blade. See, the blade will not cut what your fingers won't allow it to cut, okay, so you get nice even cuts. See, and we're just rocking the knife again like that. And then pretty soon you'll get to where you just fly through it. And you can cut all this stuff that you have cooked very, very quickly. So now you have all this cut up for salad. Suddy especially likes his cut up in little pieces like this. So that is it. Very, very simple. Do we have any questions?
Somebody asked if you use avocado oil.
Avocado oil is wonderful. I do not use avocado oil because Annie is allergic. Did I just say allergic?
You did say allergic.
My lands. Annie is allergic to avocados. So the oil might not bother her. I don't know. I don't want to find out. So I don't use that, and she doesn't want to find that out either. So I do not use avocado oil. I do love it though. But again, I think with this particular chicken, the coconut oil is really great. I think it's a must. Guys, you're wanting this, aren't you? I'm gonna put this over here, and see any extra oil that has got on it. That paper towel stuff really absorbs that. So guys, I don't care. You get over here and start eating, okay?
Yeah, people, quite a few from Canada, Argentina, Guatemala, of course,
Oh wow!
Texas, here in the States.
I love it. I love it.
Let's see, somebody. Oh, honey caramel and cookbook. They're wanting an update.
Okay, honey caramel. Thank you for asking because I was going to talk about this anyway. The honey caramel glaze, we have been testing out shipping to family, friends, to see how the packaging holds up, to see what it actually costs to ship it, the inside packaging, everything. There's just a lot of moving parts to it. But we hope to have that available for order in about 2 weeks. So be checking. I will announce it. But the caramel glaze will be ready very soon to ship out. And again, they are 8.5 ounces approximately of the glaze, and the bottle holds almost 9 ounces, so we do a little less just because you want some room when it travels. And they are sealed. They come to you sealed, and then you just refrigerate it once you get it, just to have it. You can have it for months and months if you keep it refrigerated. And then the second thing, Hudson, do you have the other scene set up to where we can go to that? We have an exciting announcement. We have the new Recipes 2.0 coming out. Do we have that on there?
Yay.
Okay, great. There's the official cover. As you can see, it looks like the original recipes. We did very similar fonts all throughout, so it's very, very similar format. The designer and I were on the phone for, almost an hour and a half last night, just talking through some last-minute changes. But we hope to send this off this next week to start getting these printed, to get these duplicated, so that you can start receiving this in June. I'm not sure exactly when in June. I hate to say a certain date, because if I say a certain date and they don't show up, people start asking, why is my cookbook not here? But I think realistically, the 3rd week in June, we should start shipping these out, because it's going to take about 2 weeks to get these produced. So I'm going to send off all the files to my duplicator the first of next week, and then they have knocked out almost all that chicken. So we're going to have that. Guys, we have plenty more. We have, I think, my boys can typically do about at least 2 pounds of chicken in one meal. They destroy it. Got sidetracked, sorry. So in about 2 weeks, the cookbooks will be ready. And actually, at the end of this stream, give us about 5 minutes. We're going to have it live on westhampton.com or recipes.com. You can see the name down at the bottom of the screen. And you can go and you can actually pre-order it. I think we have a couple packages where you can do, 1 honey caramel glaze, 2 or 3 or 4. That we broke that down because of the shipping costs. It was easier to do it that way so that you weren't paying a ton for shipping. You were paying pretty much what it costs us to ship it, plus the cost of the boxes and the stickers and all that, and the labels. They've eaten all the chicken. Good job, guys. So it wasn't, you didn't like it? I'm sorry. Well, I'll go back to the drawing board.
That cookbook is 2.0. So
yeah, it's called Recipes 2.0. So we have 2 cookbooks now.
you should the other one.
We have Recipes, which is this one right here. This is the original Recipes, which we still have, okay? We actually, when we get these reprinted, we might actually put 1.0 under there just to make it clear. But yeah, Recipes, and then you have Recipes 2.0.
Go to the a little more over back.
Seriously?
There. Well, we have both on the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was like, what?
So
Is this
white
not?
chef shirt is the first one, and then blue shirt.
Yeah,
is
Recipes 2.0. And again, we will have this available for pre-order today. And all that means, I will personally sign every pre-order that is made. And obviously, if you pre-order, you will get the cookbook first. You will have priority as far as when we fulfill them and when we ship them out. So you could get yours, a week or so before anyone else does. So again, westhampton.com, go there today in about 5 to 10 minutes to pre-order. And yeah, that's it. Do we have any more questions before we wrap up? I appreciate everyone so much for tuning in today. I hope you will make this, and I hope you will let me know what you think. You might want to add more powdered sugar. That's great. I've done that before, and the boys seem to like it even more, having a little more sweetness, but totally customize this to your taste. You can put dry mustard in this. You can really up the garlic powder if you want to. You just do what you want to. You can put some cayenne pepper in there, some chipotle chili powder, whatever you want. Just make it your own and have fun. And I will say with this chicken, the honey caramel glaze on the chicken, just a little drizzle, does not hurt at all. So thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you have a great weekend. God bless you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.